that I'm being able to be here today, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very, very pleased to be able to share this topic with you today. So, God bless everybody. Matthew Miller here from Maranatha Ministries. Today, the live stream is going to be the church age. Why? It's like who, what, where, when, why. What terminates the church age? So we have to realize that in this present narrative that we're out, everything is explained away in Hebrews chapter 10. It really is. It is explained in verses 11 through 14. It's very simple. This is why the church age is going on. So you have to realize that right now Jesus Christ is acting as our high priest. He has not been coronated yet. That's what this is going to categorically say. We can only become sanctified as long as he's acting as the high priest. He is acting as the high priest perpetually because he provided himself as the Passover lamb. So from the New King James Version, Hebrews chapter 10, verses 11 through 14. And every priest stands ministering daily and offering repeatedly the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down at the right hand of God. From that time, waiting till his enemies are made his footstool. For by one offering he has perfected forever those who are being sanctified. This is going to stay. This phrase, until his enemies are made his footstool, comes from Psalm 110, verse 1, the very first verse. That's where it comes from. But you have to realize, when does this change? Of course, it changes when the dual-sided seven-sealed scroll is handed over to the Lamb by he who sitteth upon the throne. So literally, nothing can happen until he who is restraining that double-sided seven-sealed scroll, until he hands over, he releases it to the Lamb, looking as if he had been slain. It is not till this document is handed over, which is literally a bifurcation declaration. So once this document has been opened, it names on one side who is the King of Heaven. Remember, there's two dimensions. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So there is a spiritual world and a material world. This bifurcation declaration, it's written on one side. It states who is the King in heaven, and that is he who sitteth upon the throne. The reverse side says who is the King in the physical, in the material world, that is the Lord Jesus Christ. So once he's named, he must be coronated. That's what the seven trumpets are. When the last trumpet is sounded, he's officially king. This is exactly what the seventh trumpet says in Revelation chapter 11, verse 15. That's exactly what it says. It's exactly what it says. From that point, he must go from heaven's capital. He must travel from the spiritual capital to the material capital. This is the divine procession. This is his divine procession. Once he's coronated, he must take up residence in his palace, which is not in heaven. It's here on earth. This is how his enemies are made his footstool. Once he's coronated king is when he will come back and make all of his enemies his footstool. So this really is mandatory learning for you to understand what is happening. What is going on right now? What are we waiting for? We are waiting for he who is restraining this bifurcation declaration to give it to the Lamb. Once he does, he who sitteth upon the throne will tell you exactly what he does in Psalm chapter 2. He does this in response to the man of lawlessness setting up the abominable Passover desolation. He does this because Satan has offered this man of lawlessness the same deal that he offered the Lord Jesus Christ. The Lord Jesus Christ, of course, did not accept said deal. This man of lawlessness does. Once he performs the abominable Passover desolation, God hands over the bifurcation declaration, which states, no, now that this man of lawlessness has made a deal with the devil and has became the son of perdition, God says, no, the son of perdition is not king over my material world. My son, the Lord Jesus Christ, is. So once he hands over that double-sided seven-sealed scroll, which is a bifurcation declaration, he is no longer acting as the high priest. The high priest has been crowned king. This is literally what we're waiting for. This is why in the book of Thessalonians, it loudly states that no, the Great Tribulation can't start until the man of lawlessness is revealed. Because God is not going to declare that the kingdom has been bifurcated and he has elected his co-regent. That's not going to happen until the abomination of desolation happens. Read Psalm 2. That's exactly what it says. So, with that in mind, this setup is all over it's all over everywhere. Take note. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 25. It says the same exact thing. It says, for he must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet. When does he do this? At his second coming. At his second coming. That's when it happens. Luke chapter 20, verses 14 through 43. For David himself says in the book of Psalms, the Lord said to my Lord, set out my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 13. And to which of the angels has he ever said, set at my right hand until your enemies a footstool for your feet? We can go on and on and on. Mark chapter 12, verses 35 through 37. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 3. Ephesians chapter 1, 10 through 22. I mean, we can just keep going. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. Acts chapter 2, 34 through 35. Matthew 26, 64. Matthew 22, 42 through 46. Literally on and on and on and on and on. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 22. Who has gone into heaven and is at the right hand of God with angels' authority and powers having been subjugated to him. So hear, know, and understand. Right now, in heaven, everything's been made his footstool. That's what it just said. So right now, everything in heaven, the cherubim, the seraphim, thrones, power, all those different types of angels you can name, They've been put under him. Even those four living beasts that surround the throne, he's in the middle of them. He's in the middle of them. So it's pretty important that you understand what is going on here and what creates the church age. We are waiting for him who restrains to let loose that bifurcation declaration. Yes, we are. That's why the seven-sealed double-sided scroll has two sides. One side is the declaration for heaven. The other is the declaration for earth. It's a double-sided constitution. One sets up the government in the spiritual world. The other one sets up the constitution and the government for the physical world. There are two dimensions, heaven and earth. Thus saith the Lord in Genesis chapter 1. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Once you're able to understand what's going on, the Bible will literally make sense. Everything will make sense once you understand that the seals is a bifurcation declaration. On it, it names God the Father's co-regent. So that co-regent is coronated with the seven trumpets. At the last trumpet, Christ is officially the co-regent. So from there, he must do his divine procession. This is why he plainly states that you will see the sign of the Son of Man coming. You will see his coming in his divine procession as he must travel to his capital in the physical world. And he will sit on his physical throne while God the Father is sitting on his spiritual throne. Once you realize this, so many mysteries in the Bible are unlocked for you. So I'm just imploring you, I'm begging you, start studying the Bible for yourself. It's the only way to free your mind from the shackles of confirmation bias that you've gotten elsewhere. You can study the Bible for yourself. You can look at the Hebrew and Greek words. It is so easy using apps like Blue Letter Bible. You can literally click and see what the original Hebrew and Greek was. You don't need me to explain it for you. You can actually study it for yourself. You really can. And I encourage you to do so. So until the next live stream, please like, share, and subscribe if this video edified you. And please comment on the video. And spread the good news, spread this message. God did not write the Bible to confuse you. He didn't. He gave you the tools to understand it. Till next time, God bless. Godspeed.